Welcome back to the studio. My name is Mr. McKee, and today in this video, we're going to be learning the low block. And so, like the two videos before, I'm going to teach you one technique at a time. I'm going to give you as much information as I can on the technique so you guys get success when you're learning these techniques. I'll give you different angles, close-up shots, things of that nature, so you guys can get the best learning experience at home as possible. All right, so with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so now what we're going to do is just go ahead and bow in, and then we'll go from there. Okay, feet together, face here, chariot, kanye. All right, okay, so now, of course, we always have to warm ourselves up. Just going to do a couple of minutes here. Go ahead and let's just throw our arms back and forth. Of course, feet shoulder width apart. Good. Go ahead and just roll your arms forward. Roll arms back, shoulders, elbows, wrists. Go ahead and just nice roll them. All right, there we go. Okay, feet shoulder apart. And then what we're going to do is just going to twist. Twist. There we go. And I'm just kind of letting my feet, if you can see my feet, just kind of letting my feet kind of just roll and just open up every part of the skeleton structure so I don't kink anything, because that's when stuff starts going wrong, when you hold something back and it's like, oh, that didn't work. All right, okay, now let's go ahead and step back into sparring stance. Just a nice, easy stretch kick as usual. There we go. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Jump switch. Other back leg. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Good. All right. Okay, and then go ahead and jump back into sparring stance. And then, just like before, we're just going to bring the knee up, really nice and tight chamber, and then just bring it all the way around, but just going to open up those hips and let everything kind of stretch out how it needs to. One more. There we go. Good. Jump switch, other foot, or other leg, I should say. There we go. Nice. One more. There we go. Awesome. All right. So now that we got ourselves warmed up, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain to you the low block, but then what exactly are we blocking and how are we blocking? I'm going to pull Bob out for this one, because good old Bob loves to get beat up, and he loves to have the camera in him. So, okay, so I'm going to explain something. So, all of us as humans, we all have a invisible bubble around us. The invisible bubble is as far as we can reach, just out in front of us. That's one bubble. And then as far reach with our kicks as another. So we have maybe 2.5 foot stretch out of a bubble within us that is our striking point. Okay, so if Bob is out of my bubble, I'm not going to be able to reach him, right? It's just I'm just not going to be able to reach him. I got to get him into my bubble. Okay, now this is where it gets dangerous, because when we get people in our bubble, that's when we start getting injured. When something is out of our bubble, there's, or their bubble, I should say, because some people are taller Some people are shorter. They have longer reaches with their legs. But we have to stay outside of their bubble to stay safe. Okay. Now there is a point with inside that we can be safe. But what we got to do is we got to get past those two bubble lines, or those two dangerous points, so then we can actually get into what we need to defend ourselves with, or just lock up and then go from there. Okay. So with the low block, okay, I'm going to teach you the low block, and then I'm going to put some thought behind it of how we actually execute this correctly. Okay, so let's move Bob out for a second. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you the front stance and then the low block. Okay, so what we're going to do is feet shoulder width apart, and then what we're going to do is with our right leg, we're going to step out one, step out two. Now I'm on a train track. Okay, so I'm not crossing over to my other shoulder, my other leg. I'm staying on my train track right there, and I'm taking 2 steps forward. I'm keeping a nice wide base stance, locking the back leg out, bending the front knee. Okay, back up straight, chest out, head up, really confident. Okay, we want to be good, confident body position. It's strong. It creates confidence within us, and of course, we need to look at where we're going. Okay, we don't want any kind of hunched over, head down. Want to be nice and straight, and then we can execute the technique correctly. Okay, so when we're here, this hand is going to be prepared. It's just going to go right back into our armpit, and this is called a prepared position. This is just going to point to our opposite knee, the one that's actually bent into the front of us, and we're going to make a line across our body this way. Okay, it doesn't have to be anything complicated. There's not a set point to it. It's just point it out so it makes a line across your body this way, because it's coming in that way, and it's going to create power when we're going to be low blocking. Okay. The other hand, your actually blocking hand, let me get forward here. Let me get in the picture more. Okay, so this, nice tight fist. So just go ahead and nice tight fist. Turn your the palm of your hand into you, and then kind of just set it right up into this pocket right here as your arm is this way. And then what you're going to do is you're going to slide down that arm, and then twist. Let me get it in the camera here. Twist, and then down. Okay, so now we don't want to stop short of our blocking. We want it to go all the way out to the side of us. Okay, because this is the imaginary round kick, front kick coming at us, and it's coming this way, but we're swiping it out of the way and going this direction. All right. Okay, so the target is coming straight to our midsection. It's not going to be a head kick. It's going to be the body kick that's coming to us. If it's the head, then that's going to be a different block. But this one, we're blocking our midsection, protecting that, and then we're just going to bring it down and then lock it out nice and tight. Okay, so let's go ahead and do 3 of these real nice and slow. 1, 2, good. One more. And 3. Okay, now remember to see, this is going to be a nice, tight, prepared position right back in our armpit. Now, if anyone knows, on my first video, I explained I had a stroke as a kid, so this side doesn't look very professional and clean, but it gets the job done, and that's what we got to deal with for this. Okay, but you guys understand that it's a twist back and just a nice tight in the armpit. Okay, if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the descriptions below, and then I'll answer the questions on that. All right. Okay. So pretty easy. That's all. This is all the low block is right here. Okay. But make sure that the low block stays out and it doesn't stop short halfway. We want it out and to lock it out this way and to make sure that's nice and strong. All right. Okay. So now that we have that, let me bring Bob back out. And now what I want to do is I want to explain. Now we can, you know, stand here and then block. Okay. But that doesn't seem to be a very good technique in my mind as I'm thinking about it. Now, yes, it does work, but when somebody is, coming towards you and like, going to give you a round kick or front kick, something like that, you just stand there and then block. Well, you're kind of just, you kind of planted yourself, which it is a technique, but I'm going to teach you a different style of this technique. And we're actually going to step in through his bubble and then block his kick. Okay, so with this technique is we are interrupting their front kick. Okay, so I am actually, now he's kicking, but I am going to throw or block his kick out of the way and step into his bubble, and then it leads to better techniques in the for me to execute after I block his deal. I mean, we can even go as far as like step back and then do our follow up with some round kicks, front kicks, whatever you want. But this is just a technique of interrupt his kick, get inside of his bubble, so then you can follow it up with whatever you feel like. Okay, so I'm not going to go too much into that stuff today. The low block is just kind of what I wanted to get clear, and so you guys can just concentrate on the low block instead of like, oh, but this technique and this technique. Let's just worry about the low block for right now, and then we'll build on for that for later. All right. Okay. So if that made sense, cool. If it didn't, you know what to do. Go ahead and put your questions down in the comments. Go ahead, like, subscribe. I think we're done. Let's go ahead and bow out and we'll call it a day. Okay. Face here. Yep. Kanye. We'll see you on the next one.